So when I was 14, I used to talk about I wanted to have a kid, right? But that was because I thought I was gonna die young, right? So I was robbing people. I when I was 14, I got locked up for armed robbery. Put a gun to the chick's head at the store. Said, "Give me all the money." Yada yada. Like I was living this wild fucking life. So I thought I was gonna die young. So when I got out of placement, like I got locked up and I was a virgin still, right? So I was still robbing people. I was doing all this shit, but I didn't have sex at the time. So I got locked up, sent away at 14. Didn't get home until I was 15. And then when I got out, I finally was not a virgin because like I thought I was gonna die. So I was like, oh my god, I could have died, went to prison. I could have went to prison a fucking virgin. Like it fucked with me. So then I got out, had sex, whatever. I always wanted a kid because I thought I was gonna die young. So when I finally got a girl, and we were serious, I explained to her, like I said, I wanted a kid, right? And whatever. But the weird thing about life is she, like, this was my daughter, right? I wanted, before I had any kids, I wanted a kid, and I had my daughter. And my daughter's me and her have such a close relationship now that it's crazy that I can see why, like, I wanted a kid. Like, it's funny because I had no idea she was going to do anything for me because I didn't expect her to, right? Like, as a father, I understand reality, right? Like, as a father, it's your responsibility to be the philosopher, the teacher, the provider of knowledge and wisdom and comfort, and to give a safe space, especially if you have a daughter, to give a safe space for her to be herself, because the world doesn't want girls to be themselves, right? To be free or whatever, because the world kind of boxes us in, and then girls have to put on this like fake masculinity thing and whatever the fuck. So it was my job as her father to make sure that she has the space and the place for her to bloom and be herself, right? To be free. So that's what I did. But it has been a lot of work. I've had to take sacrifices and all these different things that like mothers don't usually think about, right? Cuz fathers we live in a fucked up world today, right? Cuz fathers are like caught up in this whole thinking that they have to provide to put the food on the table, but while we're working so hard to put the food on the table, we're forgetting to be there with the family, right? Like there's something happening. So for me personally, I've been there with my daughter because like I was a stay-at-home dad for the first 2 years of her life while her mom worked, and like I built this thing with her, slowly just learning how to communicate, teaching her how to communicate, working with her, right? Taking my time because she's a kid. So like if I'm sitting there philosophizing, maybe she's trying to explain something, and instead of trying to rush her to make her think like, you gotta hurry this up, I would make her feel safe enough to sit there and think. And I'm not gonna rush her to think it fast. Like, no, like take your time. What are you trying to say? And then whatever, find the right words to use and all this shit, right? And it took a lot of time and a lot of work. So her birthday was the other day, and I took her out to eat, and we went to go see a movie, and we just hung out. It was fucking awesome. But like me and my daughter have that relationship where it's like we are just homies. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like yes, I'm her father. So yes, sometimes I gotta put my foot down. But like I've never beat her. I've never put my hands on her. I've never needed to. I've never needed to. There's only been she's 11 now, but there has only been less than 5 times in her life where I have had to get serious and like maybe I had her stand in the corner for like 5 minutes or something or like whatever, and maybe I yelled at her seriously or whatever. But there's only been 5 times in her entire life that I've had to do that, and the rest of it was she would explain to me that she listens to me because she loves me, right? Like she cares about how I feel, and I care about how she feels. She cares, like she sees what I do in my life, and like you know what she said to me for her birthday? What she wanted for her birthday was to see me be able to have a day off and relax. Like, it made me almost emotional because I'm like, damn, she sees what I'm trying to do. She sees how hard I work on my things. She sees the things that y'all don't, right? And she's seen it her whole life. She's seen me work on myself, grow up, because when she was born, I knew that I had to put the work in myself because I was some wannabe gangster thug and I did not want her to be around that type of men, right? So with Teal Swan's video, it made me think that, okay, so the perspective that women have is a little different because, like, I wanted a kid. I'm different than most men, right? Because I wanted my child. I wanted a daughter. I at least wanted a daughter or a son. It didn't really matter. But like, as a boy, obviously in the beginning I wanted a boy. But now I'm so grateful that I had a daughter because she softened me up. She made me realize that like she's taught me more about women than I have ever learned ever. Like just by watching her and watching her grow up. She just went through puberty not too long ago. So like I seen how she acted on her period for the first time. Like I seen how her like basically I seen the whole thing. So the me watching her grow up made me realize women are different than men, but not really, because I sit there and philosophize with her about the universe and life, and she tells me what she wants to do with her life, and my goal as her father is to try to set a path that's easier for her to walk to get to the place where she wants to go. Because it doesn't matter what I want her to be, because I don't want her to be anything but herself. I want her to be free. I want her to be a powerful woman, but a loving, kind-hearted human, and like just be yourself, right? And that's the thing that I do with parenting that is a little different than other parents, because a lot of parents disagree with the way I parent my daughter. They say you shouldn't be your daughter's friend, but I do the same thing my mom did to me. My mom was my best friend when I was a kid, right? And still to this day, my mom is like one of my best friends. We could talk about anything. We could say, like, my mom knows everything I do. All the psychedelic shit, all the things I do in my life, everything. I've felt no hesitation to ever not tell her anything, because me and my mom built that built that relationship with each other as I was growing up as a kid. She gave me the safe space to be myself. Even if I was angry, she gave me the safe space to scream and to be mad and to work through the motions of emotions, right? She allowed me to do this. Even though people would tell her, you shouldn't allow your son to walk all over you and you shouldn't do this. But my mom knew deep in her soul what she was supposed to do. Because if she raised me differently, I would be different. And if she raised me differently, I would have raised my daughter differently. But something that my grandmother started, and it's a cycle that my grandmother started that I am continuing. My mom's mom was like my mom's best friend when my mom was a kid. And my grandmother basically started this thing with starting this tradition to raise our children as our close friends. And like, it's hard to explain because people don't agree with it, right? So like, as I try to explain this, people are like, well, that's not good or whatever. And I'm like, I never impose me on my daughter. She tries to impose her on me, but like, because I wanted her to become herself, right? Just like my mom never imposed her on me. She wanted me to become myself. So even when I went through the wannabe gangster stage, or when I went through these stages, she was just letting me go through these stages, helping me through it, right? Like, when I did something wrong, letting me know I did something wrong. But my mom never put her hands on me either, right? Not once, ever. So I never did that to my daughter. So it's a cycle of we are going to continue this, because something I learned from my mom is it's like, how could you be friends with someone who beats you? Like, there's going to be a weird disconnection and there usually is with parenting. This is why I'm like, okay, there's nothing wrong. I'm not going to say there's something wrong with the way other people parent, right? Because there's nothing wrong with the way I parent, even though people say, you're doing it the wrong way. And I'm like, well, there is no right or wrong way. You have to know your kid. You just have to know your child. You have to know your family. You have to know, where do these ideas come from? And, the cycles that you're giving to your children, they're going to give to their children and their children's children. And, like, we need to start being a little more consciously aware of the cycles we're giving the next generation and the things that we're giving to the next generation. Because I never expected my daughter to give me anything, even though she gave me me. Like, my daughter was the very first thing that woke me up. Because like I said, when she was born, it was 2 weeks, because mothers have this thing when they're inside of them. You can feel it. But fathers don't feel that thing for me, it didn't happen until 2 weeks after she was born. After she was born, 2 weeks later, she was still small enough for me to hold just like this. And her head right here, I just looked her in her eyes, and it was like the first breakthrough that I have ever had, because I just sat there and bawled. and just cried and cried because like it clicked that, wow, her soul, I need to protect that thing in her. That was my job. That's what made me cry. That's what made me realize I'm gonna look crazy as fuck, right? People are gonna say I'm parenting wrong. People are gonna say you shouldn't do this. People are gonna say you shouldn't do that. But I knew from that that moment of looking her in her eyes of what I had to do. I had to stop being a wannabe gangster, stop robbing people, stop wanting to fucking get that straight cash by any means, stop with all this bullshit I needed to get educated so I can educate her. I needed to gain knowledge so I can give the knowledge to her. I needed to figure out how to stop self-harming, how to fix my mental health, how to get rid of my anxiety, how to get rid of my depression so she never had those problems. I had to do this thing for myself so I can give it to my daughter. Because if I didn't, I would have gave my daughter the wannabe thug that I was. And that would have affected her mindset, the type of man she wants when she gets older, the ideas she has about life and what life is. So, parenting for me is weird. Because, like I said, I never expected anything from my daughter, but she did give me everything. She gave me. The fact that I needed to grow up. I needed to become a better man. I needed to, she started that. Without her, there would be no that. I would still, because if it was that started the thing, that then opened my mind enough to even go on the psychedelic journey, because, the wannabe thug that I used to be would have just been I'm not doing those fucking crazy people drugs, you're out your fucking mind. And the old me would have just blew it off, right, like nothing. I wouldn't have cared. The old me wouldn't have been able to sit down and listen to my daughter, right? Because, that's the thing. I've learned to just sit down and listen. And my friend today came over, and he was saying, your daughter's so much older than she actually is. And I'm like, I know, she's just turned 11, acts like she just turned 16, 17. But that's partially because of the way I trained her mind. I worked on her mind. I taught her how to meditate when she was younger so she could learn how to just be, right? There's certain things that I taught her that help her in life, and I knew that was my job. But I knew when she was born that my job was for me to learn something that I could then give to her, because I didn't have anything to give to her at that point. Nothing. And it was kind of a weird thing where I'm so grateful I had her. But there's this old saying that your kids chose, on some spiritual shit, your kids chose to come, to be born to you. I think that's real. I think that is so scarily real, because there is no way, because me and my daughter we have this spiritual connection that I could never explain. And the only way I can explain it is we're going to start making videos together. But, I've told her I don't want her to be involved in what I do. She knows what I do. I just don't want her to... I don't want her to think, well, my dad does this, so I should do this. Or my dad does this, so it's whatever. So I explain to her all the time, don't do what I do just because I do it. Do what you were born to do because you feel it, right? You'll feel what you were supposed to do, because I felt what I was supposed to do this whole time. I could feel it. I could feel that I was supposed to have my daughter when I had her. I could feel that I was supposed to grow up when I grew up. I could feel that I was supposed to get rid of this gangster shit and that fucked up mindset when I was supposed to. Everything is happening exactly how it's supposed to happen. Exactly. Because if there was one little thing that's different, the relationship I have with my daughter might not be as strong. The bond that we have, the understanding that we have of each other. We understand each other, right? She understands me. And this was my choice. I chose to be the real me. Because most parents, their kids really don't know the real them. Because you're scared to be the real you in front of your kids. And that I don't do. I've always been the real me. To the point where other people, once again, would say, that's not a good thing to, whatever. People say, well, she's just a kid. And I've had deep conversations with my daughter. And let me tell you, she's not just a kid. No kid is just a kid. And I learned that from my daughter. Because she makes philosophy type videos too. And I watched one of her videos where she was explaining that all kids think like this. They just don't speak like this. But all kids think like this. She was talking about how adults basically look at kids like they're just kids. And Kids are a lot smarter than the adults realize. Kids are a lot more aware. They hear everything. They could see everything. It's just they don't understand everything because the parents are not explaining what is going on. They say, oh, they're a kid, they won't understand. Or no, they don't understand because you don't know how to explain it in a way that would help them understand. That's the truth. And that's the thing that I realized, well, as a father, that is my job. Mothers have a different job than fathers because most mothers are not like deep philosophers who like whatever. But this is where parenting is so crazy. As a father with a daughter, I taught her how to be a philosopher. She loves to learn. She loves knowledge. So we learning NFTs together, and I told her that like we gotta learn a little bit of coding. It might take us a couple years or whatever, but like eventually we're gonna get to start, like starting to research some coding so we can learn how to code, so we can like do some generative, like 10,000 generative NFT art type things. You know what she did on her own? On her own, because I get her every weekend, but on her own, when she went home in school, she was researching how to code. She found like this game slash app that like it's a game, but it teaches you the in and outs of coding, like for real. So, and then she showed me it when she came, and she was like, I got this thing that whatever. I'm like, wow. All I did was let her know, like, well, she wants to do the NFT thing and whatever. She wants to do this with her life and whatever. And I was explaining, well, there's a lot of things we're going to have to learn, and we can learn it together because there's still a lot of things that I don't know because it's still new to me too. But she went on her own, came back, starting to learn coding on her own. She's 11. She just turned 11. Like, I was like, what? So it made me realize, okay, she knows what she wants to do with her life. Like, people don't think she knows because they're like, oh, she's just a kid. She don't know. She knows exactly what she wants to do. She knows the steps. She knows exactly how she needs to get there, the work she needs to put in to actually get to where she's trying to go. And I'm so proud of her. Like, I am so proud of her because the woman she is becoming is mind-blowing because, like, she's 11, but literally probably the most powerful woman I've ever met. And she's not a woman, obviously. She's still a kid. But, like, the most powerful kid I've ever met. Such a powerful soul. Such herself that, like, whatever. But such a kind soul. Because, like, I explained to her, like, you can't be a bully. Like, there's times she was getting bullied in school, so she would, like, try to, like, whatever back. But, like, I was explaining, like, you can't be a bully. Like, I know you want to be like, fuck y'all, you fucking idiots. Like, I get it. But, like, you can't be a bully. So, because I explained to her, those bullies probably don't have a me in their life. They don't have a dad, like, that sits down with them and lets them know that it's okay to cry. It's okay to be safe. Gives them a safe space. Because the moments where there was, years ago, when my daughter was going through some things or whatever, she, like, every time that she needed to shatter, I would let her shatter in my arms, right? She would just sit there and cry. And we would just cry together, and we would shatter together. And then, as when I knew she was okay, I would sit her down, let her know, like, I'm here. You okay? And if she's okay, then I'm like, all right, we good. Because I don't want her to hold on to that sadness. So I taught her how to, if you ever feel like you're just holding on to all this shit, just come here, right? We'll cry it out together type shit. And it's that vulnerability that I had with my daughter, being a man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why in the last video I just made talking about, like, men need to consciously evolve, that's what the fuck I am talking about. How the fuck can you do that with your daughter if you are not consciously evolved? If you are not conscious, like, how, like, I don't even know how to explain that. Because, like, those moments are why my daughter doesn't have mental health issues. That's why she doesn't have depression. Because I gave her the ability to release it. Put it on me, right? Give me your sadness. And then I start crying because I literally feel the sadness she feels as I'm holding her. So then I transmute that sadness out in another way, right? So she doesn't have to deal with it. I will deal with it, right? And it's this transmutation of energy. And I have been teaching her how to just transmute the energy. And I've also taught her, like, you can do that. We can do that forever, right? She could be 40 years old, and I'll still be right here holding her through life. Like if she needs me, I'm right here. But I've also trying to teach her like to transmute the energy into art, right? Into things like you like I make. She sees how I make music, and she's seen that when I went through the breakup, I made a whole album of like sad music. But like I was playing one of the songs the other day, and she was like, "Dad, I can feel that you like." Because I explained to her the song, and she was like, "Dad, I could feel that." Like, because I was like, I was sad that, my girl left and she wasn't coming back and I had to get up and like do something. And then I had that motivation to like, all right, enough is enough. I have to let her go and I got to do something about it. But you could feel all that in the song, even though there was no words in the song. And she basically explained that to me. I was like, wow, I did a good job, I guess, because she was 10, but like a 10-year-old explained it exactly what I was trying to say in the song, even though I said no words, because I expressed my feelings into the music. And so this video ended up turning out a little differently because I originally planned on talking about the whole Teal Swan thing about what she said or whatever. But I kind of just wanted to give my perspective because, like, the other day was my daughter's birthday, and we spent the day together. We watched this dope ass movie together, and like because I know my daughter, it's funny because there was a couple of movies out, right? There was Sonic 2, and there was some other shit, and then there was Morbius. We watched the trailers to all of them, and she wanted to see Morbius. I did too, but like I didn't say anything because I didn't want to I didn't want to say what I wanted, and then she would be like, "Okay, let's watch that, Dad," or whatever. So I wanted to like, "Oh, let's just watch the trailers." And she wanted to see Morbius, and I'm like, "Man, that's my daughter. Fuck yeah!" Because that was a fucking awesome movie. Just sitting there with her watching it, and yeah, it was just dope. So I don't know. I think fathers need to be more vulnerable. I think fathers need daughters, like, because if it wasn't for me having I'm pretty sure if I had a son, I still would have been hard as nails. Like I would have been some thug motherfucker. Like yo, motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? But it was having my daughter that like made me realize I have to grow up to be a better father. Like I wanted to be a good father, but I knew when she was born I was not. So in order for me to become a good father, the father that she needed, because fathers and parents need to understand, fuck, stop trying to be a good parent. Fuck, don't look at other people. Don't look at other people's kids. Don't look at nobody else. Look at your child and figure out what they need from you. What do they need from you? Not fuck the food, fuck the money. Like, yeah, you should probably make sure they eat. But besides the basic necessities of life, they need so much more. And as fathers, we need to soften up enough so they can feel safe enough to come to us. Because there's so many daughters that are scared to tell their fathers things. I've known my daughter likes girls. I know she's had girlfriends. She's had this boy that was whatever. Like, she talks to me about everything. Everything. And I don't make her feel like, you gotta stay away from those boys, and you're gonna whatever, because I trust her. I taught her enough about knowledge in the world and life and just kids and where kids come from and the whole fucking thing. I taught her everything. Because the more knowledge she has, the better decisions she can make on her own. So now I trust her enough where like she can say she has a girlfriend or that there's this boy that likes her. I don't have to worry about it because she understands she has goals and dreams she wants to do with her life. She's not worried about sex or any of that. I don't have to worry about that because we're so honest with each other that if anything ever happened, she would tell me. She tells me everything. That's the weird thing about when you are honest with your kids will be honest with you. But when you are not honest with your kids know that. So then it hurts the relationship. It hurts the bond. And the bond also is, as a father, you're going to learn to calm the fuck down. Your daughter is your daughter, not your property, bro. She don't belong to you. It's not, you helped create her body, but her soul, her spirit is hers and hers alone. So like, she's a girl. Yeah, there's gonna be boys, there's gonna be this, there's gonna be that. But how about start teaching our daughters. Give them knowledge so they can make better decisions, so they can become better women. Because the real way to get rid of these dirty women in the world, because I see all these men talking about the women today and whatever. The women today apparently don't have a deep connection with their fathers. That's the problem. And the fathers need to stop with that gangster shit. Sit back down and calm down. Because what you are, your daughters will probably look for. So if you're a gangster, expect your daughter to bring home a gangster. If you're so like that's just real, because especially if you're not sitting down talking and communicating with your daughter about life, about, and not the whole stay away from sex is like, no, like, be real, like, be vulnerable, be the safe space. Because now I don't know what it's like to raise sons. I've been in my daughter's life since she was born, and so I know what it's like to raise a daughter, and I know and that's the I don't know what it's like to raise a daughter. I know what it's like to raise my daughter, and it's my daughter is different because we are a different type of family. We are different human beings. We're weird, right? We are a bunch of woke human beings. She's 11, but probably the wokest human I've ever met. Like, way woker than me, quote unquote, because, like, it's just naturally who she is. She'll never have to she'll never have to wake up. She'll never have to unlearn shit. She'll never have to do any of the stuff that I had to do. I was a wannabe thug when I was 16. I didn't know who I was. Like, there was all this shit. She will never have to go through that. Ever. And that was my job. That's why I sit here and I'm like, I don't care what anyone says. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Because the relationship I have with my daughter will speak for itself. My daughter speaks for herself, right? It's that she is herself. And I am so grateful that I am her dad. Because it's not that I ever expected to get anything from her, but she gave me the world. And I'm trying to do the same to her. Because she gave me me. And I wanted to make sure that I protected her enough so she could be herself as she grows up. So she doesn't have to fake it. So she doesn't have to put on this mask. So she doesn't have this anxiety or depression or any of this shit. I never wanted my daughter to deal with anything like that. Ever. And so I worked on that. And that was my job. And it's still my job. Because I'm still putting the work in. Every weekend I see her. Every weekend I put the time in. Every weekend I take the breaks. We sit down and we watch things together. We conversate for hours, right? Because that's the thing. The way I talk here is the same way I talk to her. There is no difference. I'm not different. I refused to be fake because I didn't want my daughter to not know who I was. It doesn't matter what people think about me. It matters that she knows me. That's all that matters. So, yeah. So this has been a video about parenting and the relationship I have with my daughter, I guess.